So during slavery, something really interesting happened. It's so much deeper than black men being sold and bought as like cattle. And I'm stressing this thing about black men in particular because by default, if you strip the men, you strip the women and the children. So not only were black men stripped from their identity, but by default, the women and the children under them were stripped. And what was super interesting about this is that in its place, they were given a culture, they were given a religion, they were even given a new language. Even their history, like, to just say, oh, you come from slavery, that's not what anybody comes from. So fast forward 400 plus years later, here we are to where we have the internet, and of course, black men are able to talk and be unfiltered. They're able to be expressive and they're able to show their own opinions and share their viewpoints. And oftentimes, they're able to express their disdain for, unfortunately, black women and any other group. That being said, I tried to fast forward as quick as I could. This leads me to this whole respect of a man's name in marriage. The reason why I'm talking about black women in particular is because another funny thing during slavery and everything that followed it is that somehow black women have kind of disassociated themselves with black men, especially with this latest wave of feminism. It just seems like the only time a black man is okay is if he's LGBTQ or if he's getting murdered by the police so that Black Lives Matter can burn down the streets. But other than that, they're not really worth anything. If it's not entertainment or dying by police brutality, where are black men really honored or respected in the so-called black movement of today? In the mainstream, anyway. That being said, oftentimes I am criticized because there was this passage in the Bible that I always, champion with Abraham and his wife Sarah, and the fact that Sarah called her husband Lord. Now, I did look this up. So in the Bible, there was this deity called Baal or Baal, Baal. And, Israel and most of the world, when they would go astray, they would worship this deity. Funny enough, Baal in the modern language is considered Lord. They're both interchangeable. So Baal was seen as like this high power. And like I said before, let's go back to the fact that, Abraham was called Lord. So it was like, instead of having Baal be the high power of the family, it will be Abraham himself. The difference between Baal and Abraham is that obviously Baal is supposed to be like this highest deity. But if you replace Baal with Abraham, now there only has to be the deity that Abraham served, which is Yahuwah, right? So, or, some people call him Yahweh. Okay, so, I don't really get caught up in the dialect. Now let's go back to the husband's name. Daughter's in the background acting a fool. I'm trying to keep up with her. So now if you get rid of Baal and you put Abraham in place of Baal, then, Abraham, of course, he's worshiping Yah. So then there's no place for Baal at all, which means everybody falls under Yah. So as this refers to slavery, take again, the black man, he was removed from his, from who he served before he was given whatever gods of the people that owned him. This is why marriage is so important, but especially in the black community. Black men have to be restored to their place of being the lords of their houses. That way, black women can stop chasing after like government or somebody else to take care of them in a way that only a husband does. And then the children can also be in order because of that. It'll all fall right into place. So this is a quick breakdown on why I call my husband Lord. And on top of that, I call my son Sir. Because if he's growing up and I say, well, even with my daughter, I call her ma'am. If I say no about something, I say no ma'am, yes ma'am. My son, I say yes sir, no sir. And they understand I'm an authority figure of sorts. I'm their mother. But the reason why I push this ma'am, sir, and Lord thing so much is so we can never get confused. Daughter still wilding. so that we can never get confused as far as how the family structure should go and how the order should be. And keep in mind, I'm only maintaining the order that my husband has set. And with that being said, everybody out in the world who's doing their own thing, if they don't play by our rules, they can't play. We operate based off of Torah. My husband is the Lord of the house. My son is the sir of the house. My daughter is the new princess, and she's the ma'am of the house, and I am the queen of the house. Everybody else got their own structure. Everybody else got their own rules. But as far as when they come in this house, if they're even able to come to this house, that's the structure that they're under. And this is why it's so important that wives acknowledge their husbands as Lord.